Everyone, it's Kelly, and today we're going to be learning about student loans. As you all know, grants, scholarships, and work-study programs can all help reduce the cost of attending college, but they often don't cover the full cost of attending school. In that case, federal student loans can be a great help in this situation, but students need to know the pros and cons of taking out student loans in order to become responsible borrowers. They also need to know tips and tricks to pay back that debt. Getting a loan is a huge decision, as you may be paying back your loans 10 years in the future. There are two types of student loans that you can get, a federal loan or a private loan. For today, though, we are going to focus on talking about federal loans. So, federal student loans are fixed interest rate loans from the government. Under the program, undergraduate students can borrow direct subsidized or unsubsidized loans from the government. Let's talk more about the difference between subsidized and unsubsidized loans. In subsidized loans, you have to repay the principal that you borrowed at the end of your college career, but the government will pay all the interest for you. Direct subsidized loans are available to undergraduate students with financial need. Your school determines the amount you can borrow, and the amount may not exceed your financial need. If you're an undergraduate student, the maximum amount you can borrow each year in direct subsidized loans and direct unsubsidized loans ranges from around $5,000 to around $12,000 per year, depending on what year you are in school and your dependency status. Basically, for subsidized loans, as I stated before, the U.S. Department of Education will pay the interest for you, and in order to qualify for a direct subsidized loan, you must apply for financial aid through your school by filling out the free application for federal student aid, the FAFSA, which we mentioned before, super important for getting financial aid, in order to prove your eligibility. And to be eligible for a subsidized loan, you must be an undergraduate student, be able to prove financial need, be enrolled at a school at least half-time, and also be enrolled in a program that can lead to a degree or a certificate awarded by the school. Next, we'll talk about unsubsidized loans, where you have to pay the loan plus the interest. Direct unsubsidized loans are available to undergraduate and graduate students, and there is no requirement to demonstrate financial need. Your school determines the amount you can borrow based on your cost of attendance and other financial aid you receive. For an unsubsidized student loan, the maximum amount you can receive is around $5,000 if you're a first-year student or freshman. On the other hand, third-year students can receive as much as $6,000. And again, you are responsible for paying the interest on a direct unsubsidized loans during all your periods. Now, you may be wondering, what's the process for applying for these loans and getting the loans? Well, we're going to talk about that next. First, you have to complete the FAFSA form. Again, I already stated this, it's super important for the government to know how much financial aid you will receive, and based on the results, your college or career school will send you a financial aid offer, which may include federal student loans. Your school will then give you instructions on how to accept all or part of this loan. Again, this process is, there's a lot of gray area, and you must research your school's loans and loan policy, and it really varies depending on what school you go to. Next, I'm going to share with you a true story about someone who successfully paid back their student loans. So this is Phil. He went to the Tufts School of Business at Dartmouth, and he had a total student debt of $150,000. He repaid this loan in 6 years, which is 4 years ahead of his 10-year term. How did he do this? Well, first, he understood and predicted his student loan payments ahead of time after the grace period, the grace period is essentially the period of time before you have to start repaying your loans. It's the period of time designed to allow students to get financially settled in the area before making payments. Well, Phil calculated expenses such as his rent, parking, daily expenses, and loan payments in order to create a spending plan and a monthly budget. And creating a spending plan is so important in order to repay your student loans. Check out our money management course for more information about how a spending plan and monthly budget works, and you can make one for yourself. Step 2 is that Phil set up automatic payments for his student loans. This is to be sure that he did not ever miss a payment, since if you are in debt, you don't want to be bombarded with a fee if you make a late fee or a late payment. Also, many lenders, such as Common Bond, will offer a 0.25% rate reduction by setting up autopay from your checking account, which is also a great plus. And lastly, you have to constantly analyze your current situation and make the changes as needed. For Phil, he paid the exact amount due while he got used to his new job, city, income, and expenses. And once he thought he was in a financially good place, he started increasing the amount of student loan he would pay back each month, which made paying back his loan principal much easier and quicker. It's okay if the payment doesn't increase by much money, as this money will add up to the hundreds and thousands eventually as the months go by. Phil also put in as much of his year-end bonuses into paying back his student loans, and as much as this might seem a hassle, it really will make paying back your student loans so much faster. And by prepaying chunks of his student loan, Phil finally saw the end of this tunnel of debt. Now let's talk about some tips. You should definitely research if the school is a right fit for you financially and educationally. Location is a huge factor on the amount of money you need to borrow. As mentioned before, in-state schools may cost significantly less than out-of-state schools. Be sure to predict and get an idea of your future and income and your career to determine the amount of money you want to borrow before actually taking the loan. Your loan payment should be only about a small percentage of your salary after college, so don't think that you don't have to pay back your student loan all at one time. Make sure that you only take a small portion of your salary each time. After deciding your school and how much money you want to borrow, you have to sign a promissory note that ensures you will pay back the money, sort of like a contract between the school and government and you. You also want to keep touch with your loan servicer when the repayment begins, as it will make the process much, much easier. Lastly, you should only accept the loans you need and don't overborrow, as you have to worry about repaying that money in the future. All right, and I think that's it for student loans, and I hope that helped with kind of understanding the process of student loans, the different types of student loans, and also providing a real world example to help you better understand how this person paid back their student debt. And if you have more questions, feel free to ask them in our Discord server. And also you can email us directly to ask any questions you might have. Thank you, and we'll see you next time.